Pacers close out the Bucks, but that's not the story. It's about the Bucks' future with Giannis and also what happened with Tyrese Haliburton's dad going toe-to-toe with Giannis after the game. The Pistons, they surprise everybody. They get a big win against the Knicks in New York. Celtics close out the Magic, and the Nuggets beat the Clippers. Tonight, Warriors-Rockets, and the Timberwolves are 5.5-point underdogs at the Lakers for Game 5 as well. Let me start with the teams that were eliminated. The Magic, it wasn't close. They lost in 5 to the Boston Celtics. But I do like their future. If you're looking at a team and you go, okay, they have a young nucleus, they had some injuries there. I thought that they were going to be one of those teams to keep an eye on. The Rockets, I think the Rockets will probably bow out with Golden State, but I do like their future. They have a young nucleus there. It's when you get to Milwaukee, they are old. And with Dame out, Dame probably not able to play next year. You start to look at Brook Lopez's age there. And then you start with Giannis. Does Giannis want to be there? He's got one more year, I think, with his contract. And let the speculation begin of where is he going to end up. Do I think he'll end his career in Milwaukee? I don't. But he's been loyal. And, he is decorated, won that championship. Two-time MVP, and I think you start to look at this. If I'm him and I go, are we going to win? Everybody was all in. You got Dame Lillard. We got a chance to win a championship here. And now he's going to look around and go, we're not going to win a championship. And what's the organization do? Because that's the tricky part as well. You almost want him to be the first to say, why don't we explore a trade? Because you don't want management to say, we're going to explore a trade. You want to be loyal to him. You want to be loyal to your fan base. Hey, we want to keep him, but, deep down you might go, if we're going to turn this around, this isn't a reload. This is a rebuild. And now you have to look at this and go, okay, what can we get for him? Can you get dollar for dollar? And probably not. But if you get 75 cents on the dollar for him, you look around and you see what the Lakers gave up for Luka. Well, obviously, you're not going to get anywhere near that kind of haul for Giannis. Can you get a couple of first-round picks? Can you get a player? The one team that came to mind, I thought about the Miami Heat, considering that embarrassing exit for them. Where are they in the reload, rebuild Heat culture? You do have Tyler Hero, and you do have Bam. But that might be one of those where you give up one of those guys. But then what exactly are you going, Giannis has to look and go, okay, if I go to a team, how much am I going to deplete that team by going to that team? This happened with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony wanted out of Denver, goes to New York, and then he looks around and goes, wait a minute, there's nobody here. Well, they had to give up players to get you there. And that will be the key. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, do you, and what do you get in return if you do trade Giannis? But I like Orlando's future. I think, the disappointment has been Jalen Suggs, who's been injured for them, but they do have a pretty good nucleus there as they move forward. And I like what the Pistons are doing. Even if they bow out this next game, I like who they are. Now, they got some journeymen there, but they do have some young talent there. I think Cade Cunningham is a very versatile, very talented player. And I think J.B. Bickerstaff's done a wonderful job with them. You're beating the Knicks in the Garden, and I know you had some injuries there. Brunson is not 100%, but you're facing a team that had 14 wins last year. And here they are, still in this. And that's where you start to look. I thought that this was kind of an exploratory, like a field trip. You're going to go and you're going to kind of take in the sights and sounds of the playoffs so you understand what it's like when you come back again. The Rockets are going to understand how to close out better this next time around. What Detroit is doing, what Orlando is doing. This is where you see these teams like Cleveland. I talked about Cleveland a couple of years ago and said, that's my surprise team. Well, nobody should be surprised where they are now. The nucleus is there. They blow out the Heat. Darius Garland doesn't play that much in the last couple of games. In fact, I don't even think he played. And now they've got the Indiana Pacers. And that brings us to my next topic with the Pacers. I'm not surprised. I think they're a dangerous team. I think they're a really good team. But there was drama afterwards. Tyrese Haliburton scores as he beats Giannis off the dribble and goes to the hoop, scores, and then they end up winning this game. I was shocked that there was no help for Giannis out on an island with Tyrese Haliburton. I'm watching and I go, he's going right. He's going right. He goes right. Boom. Right in. Goes right in. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing for the Milwaukee Bucks. There's no excuse for that. And Giannis used to be a great defender. But Tyrese Haliburton off the dribble, and Giannis, I think, looked at like, wait, where's my help? There was no help there. And so you can imagine, Giannis, a frustrating season, loses Dame, and then you lose this way in overtime. You got embarrassed there. You should have won the game. But there was a confrontation between Tyrese Haliburton's dad and Giannis after the game. And here is Giannis' side of the story.
I believe being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay? And that doesn't even say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort. But losing the game, emotions run high, having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized he was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think, is a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This is the F we do. This, I feel like that's very, very disrespectful.
All class by Giannis. Handled it with class. At first, he's staring at Tyrese Haliburton's dad going, what is going on here? Who is this? And you can see where he's getting in his face. Here is Tyrese Haliburton talking about his dad.
As far as the incident between Giannis and my pops, I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there. And unfortunate, what happened in the end there. But, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth. And that's just part of, this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And, it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree with what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and, we'll just go from there.
Handled it with class as well. Grown-ups ruin everything, by the way. What are you doing on the floor? You have no business being on the floor. Let your son handle his business on the floor, not you. Go hug your son. Don't be, going toe-to-toe, face-to-face. And, Giannis is not going to hit you. You can say whatever you want to him. It was embarrassing. And should not, granted, it's the Pacers and, Tyrese is one of your stars. And, of course, you have to let Pops in. I would say to Pops, you are not going onto the court. Don't even go close to the court. We're not going to let you do that. You have to have some kind of, restrictions in there. You have to have some kind of police work here. Dad goes on. What if he says something, Giannis hits him? I know you don't want to think that way, but you have to think that way because they're nose to nose at one point. And Giannis is saying things to him, and here's his dad. I don't know how they allowed this to happen. Oh, he's probably saying, hey, Giannis, you're an incredible competitor, and you should be proud of what you do. No. He's talking trash to Giannis. But the players, they reacted with class. And Giannis said, look, you win with class, lose with class, but what is this? And Tyrese Haliburton shouldn't be answering questions about his dad after a game like that. Dad, it's not about you. Hate to say this to you. Your son's the star, not you. Let your son be the star, not you. Yes, Todd.
How do you not realize that's going to be a poor reflection on your son with all the cameras everywhere and phones, that's not going to be, you really can't control yourself that much? It's that important for you to get some kind of camera time or make it about yourself? If nothing else, it's you're taking it away from your son, and he's going to have to answer all these questions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's embarrassing.